Simon Waterfall starts on pole, the grid based upon the race results from yesterday. So it's Simon from Thorburn Aston on the front row of the grid, then Chris Stretton and Molly Pugh, with Darren Rickaby and David Meadows on row number 3. Row 4 then for Aidan Hassan and Conor Grady, the reigning Compact Cup champion, making the move up into the Super Cup this year. Then we've got the first of the compacts, Paul Mousel and Max Noble, with Xavier Ross on row 2 alongside Daniel Mountford, Angus Noble and Matt Kendall next, then Aaron Tippler and Tim Seaford, with Gareth Claydon at the back. Remember, Gareth Claydon was a non-finisher yesterday, but had been in that lead battle within the Compact Cup between Paul and Max, and Gareth will certainly be hoping for slightly better fortunes in race number 2. He is a multiple former winner in the category, knows how to get the job done in a Compact Cup car, but just didn't quite have, as I said, the mechanical fortunes yesterday that he would have been hoping for. The 1 Series cars then, which are becoming more numerous with every race now. It's a new category, their second full season of running here within the Compact Cup. And the compacts, there'll always be a place for the compacts, at least for the time being. It's a category of racing that's been going for an awfully long time. They're great little cars, always produce great racing, but the 1 Series of it's a good next step, I think, for the category. They're slightly racier than the compacts ever were, but they're still very much production based, and they follow this ethos that the BRSCC has for a lot of their new one-make series of being as affordable as possible, but giving you great value for money. The proper bits of kit, they look like mini touring cars, and they are pretty rapid without you having to actually spend a fortune on the package of parts, essentially, that you use to create one of these cars. And hopefully we get more and more of them out there. It's a great category, and Simon Waterfall, a very well-deserving race winner yesterday after a disappointing opening round at Brands Hatch. Didn't make the podium in either of the races last time out, did Simon. Had some car troubles, I seem to recall him saying, but appears to have got on top of those this weekend. He was dominant yesterday. And Thorburn Aston, who was twice a runner-up at Brands Hatch, unfortunately was the bridesmaid again yesterday, and had to settle for second position. So the front row of the grid set. We're waiting for the compacts to arrive a little bit further back, with in theory 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them in position. Once they're there, we will have 15 minutes of racing getting underway then, with Waterfall and Aston in the front row, Chris Stretton and Molly Pugh row 2. Keep an eye on Aidan Hassan and Conor Grady there. That back row of the 1 Series grid is pretty tasty. Both of them are, I think, potential race winners if they can get through the pack quickly enough. Neither of them had great fortune yesterday. In fact, neither of them finished the race, I don't think, yesterday. Certainly Conor Grady didn't. Hopefully now improve matters slightly in race number 2. It's time to find out. The red lights then will extinguish momentarily, and we're away and racing now in the 1 Series Super Cup. A slow start there for Chris Stretton. That almost created calamity on what is an infamously narrow start-finish straight. Good getaway though from Thorburn Aston. He's squeezing Simon Waterfall into the first turn and goes through. So Thorburn Aston gets the advantage. The compacts get away with a good start made by Max Noble there, I think, to grab the early advantage in the Compact Cup. They will barrel off towards Rich's corner as well. But in the overall race lead, Simon Waterfall then knocked down to second place by Thorburn Aston. And we've got a proper race on our hands now, I think, in the 1 Series. Aston leads then, Waterfall second. That looks like Aidan Hassan has made some good progress. I think he's about 4th, isn't he, as they head down the back straight. Maybe a different green car than I was seeing then.
It wasn't that I was pointing at, it's the car in front of me. It's Conor Grady from the back of the 1 Series.
Yes.
So it's side by side between them for third place, but Conor Grady got a lightning getaway from down the outside. He was 4th going into turn 1, battling with Hassan, and now he was into third place briefly, at least challenging for third place, but Hassan's got him back on the run towards Brandon Nelson. So rapid start from last year's double defending Compact Cup champion. Now it's busy. 4 abreast down the back straight for the BMWs. Past all 4 of those cars, and that gaggle goes Gareth Claydon. Almost. He's got past 3 of them. Couldn't quite make it past the 1-1-2. But that was extraordinary. 4 wide for the compacts down the back straight, and they're still not finished. This is now, who's that? Is that Mazzelli's battling there?
Yeah.
So Mazzelli's dropped back a little bit. into the back of him a little bit through. Once again, this is a replica of yesterday, only that Clayton retired. Did we find out why Clayton retired yesterday?
Don't know what the issue was, no, but it was a shame, wasn't it? Because we always felt that he would be up there fighting for a win, and he might yet be able to do so, despite having started off the back row. There's a battle for the lead in the 1 Series, by the way, heading into Rich's corner. Looked to me like Simon Waterfall was to the outside of Thorburn Aston. They were separated by just under 0.2 of a second at the line. So again, it's a job to know which of the classes to focus on, isn't it, really, in this race. There is the lead battle. Aidan Hassan and Conor Grady up there as well. I said that Waterfall had things relatively his own way yesterday, but I think a large part of that was due to the fact that neither Aidan Hassan or Conor Grady were able to really contest that one. They're very much contesting this one, and they're very much in the battle. Look at that. Aidan Hassan with 2 wheels on the dirt gets alongside Simon Waterfall, who didn't get out of the Wilson hairpin very well, and it costs him 2nd place.
Of course, with Hassan not getting a good finish yesterday, he was on course for 5 in a row because he won the last 2 races at Silverstone, but I can see that the front splitter flapping around on Hassan's car. That will certainly aid him. Won't aid him in terms of aerodynamics. It'll also annoy him a little bit with some of the noise that I'll be picking up. Conor Grady just keeping a watching brief in 4th place. Yeah, they're quite a lightning getaway, but he's just started to sit back and watch these 2 cars in front. The only thing is, harder these 3 fight each other, easier it is for Aston to keep on making a break out in front. Darren Rickaby's in there in 5th position, who was running well at one point yesterday, but then faded back with problems. So he's got that car back to working issue. And as for the compacts, last time they came across the line in lap 1, it was Noble from Javier Ross, which is pretty impressive. 2nd for him, and Matt Kendall in 3rd. From Pure Mountford, and Clayton was up to P6, chasing Mountford to get in the top 5.
Indeed so. So Thorburn Aston continues to lead, but Aidan Hassan is now the one moving up to challenge him in 2nd position. And Aidan just set the fastest lap at 27.7, so half a second quicker than the leader, even whilst overtaking Simon Waterfall on the grass, no less, down the back straight. He is right in the wheel tracks now of the race leader as they turn through the right-hander at the Wilson hairpin. Aston, Hassan, Waterfall, the top 3. Conor Grady keeping a watching brief in 4th. In fact, slipping back slightly, I'd say, in the silver car in 4th position. And he is going to have to try and get a move on here. Aidan Hassan there giving Thorburn Aston the hurry up, flashing the lights, but if anything, dropping away from the leader as he heads down the back straight.
Yes, Waterfall's getting a bit more of a toe on him than Hassan's getting a toe on the leader, which is intriguing to see. You're right that Conor Grady's dropped back a little bit pace-wise, because we know how quick he is, given he's a double compact cup champion, but this is only his 2nd weekend. In fact, it's only his 3rd race out of 4 that he's done so far in the championship, given he DNF race 1, didn't start the 2nd race at Brands Hatch, his first 2 races at Brands Hatch a few weeks ago, and then yesterday managed to pick his way through where he could, and he's right for the back as Rickaby just leaning on his suspension, exiting the bomb hole, so he's just trying to push as hard as he can, keeping with Conor. Hassan's going on the attack, a little look up the inside exiting Coram. He's going to try and get an undercut here and the toe if he can power his way onto Bentley Straight. A little wayward there on the exit of Aston. That gives Hassan the punch he needs when he gets another gear. Now they go side by side up the road. They're going to be a bit of a side drop, but Hassan will have enough of an overlap to put himself in front of the timing line by the time they end lap number 3, which he does. He's in front by about a 10th, and Waterfall coming back into this now. Side by side into Richie. Thought that Aston thinks I'm not quite able to get the lead go just yet. This battle between the two makes sure that Waterfall gets in front as Hassan literally kisses the rear bumper of Aston's car. Waterfall back in, looking for 2nd place, back on Hassan. It's action station, almost 3 wide. It looks like Waterfall was looking for 2nd place and the lead. Aston does go through, question mark, and Waterfall might go around the outside. There was fisticuffs on the first lap between these guys last time. It was between Aston and Hassan. A bit more civilised this time as Grady also touches the grass and he's closing back in. A lot of yo-yoing back and forth between this top 4 at least, and Rickaby's trying as hard as he can to keep with them.
Yes, he is indeed. So fascinating stuff then. Aidan Hassan, I think possibly expected to be ahead of Thorburn Aston by now, but Thorburn's putting up a pretty good defence, and Hassan actually now having to defend himself to try and hang on to the 2nd position, with Waterfall hunting around behind him. Simon Waterfall, who is another former Mazda MX-5 racer. A lot of people start their racing careers in Mazda MX-5s before going on to race other things, and with Bromley Motorsport he has moved on up into the 1 Series SuperCup, where he was successful last year, Simon, and wants to try and get back to winning ways again here today. Through the last corner, this is where Hassan really gained on Aston Alapa go. A lot of smoke there from the back of Hassan's car under acceleration. Hopefully nothing to worry about. Accelerates across the timing line then. Didn't get quite such an advantage off the corner that time, but he's got the slipstream. He's got the momentum heading down into Rich's corner, but what he won't have is the inside line. Thorburn Aston defends that one well and forces Hassan to go the long way round. Meanwhile, back in Compact Cup land, we've got the 26 car here of Xavier Ross just ahead of Paul Mousel. Here are the 1 Series cars, and Aiden Hassan goes right round the outside of Thorburn Aston and gets the lead. Fantastic stuff. A really good run through Rich's corner, and it is Aiden Hassan then who gets the lead away and will have that advantage down the back straight. I think I just caught a glimpse out of the window of someone going slowly. Was it Xavier Ross, do we think, Scott?
Yeah, it was a Parks racing car. He was the one that was ahead of Matt Kendall. Here comes Aston back at Hassan down the outside, which would be lucky to see if he can make that one stick. Waterfall's trying to make it 3 wide again. They're tapping the brakes as they turn in. Hassan has track position and retains the lead, but yeah, Xavier Ross looks like he was struggling down the pit straight, and in fact looks like there was a yellow flag flashing down towards Richie's, but I think he's pulled off enough not to cause too much of a problem. Okie
dokie, so through the bomb hole we go. Yes, there is the car. It's, it is Mousel. Yes, I thought it might be. So it's Paul Mousel then who was going slowly, and the car continues to slow on the grass heading out of the hairpin.
But Ross was also slowing as well.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
both have a problem. Here comes Claydon now to try and get past Kendall. This is for second in compacts now, because both Ross and Matt Mazel have dropped back with issues.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so both of them in strife. There is, yes, that's Xavier Ross then, isn't it? Pulling over on the exit of Riches, and yeah, Mousel was slow coming out of the Wilson hairpin. So it's all going on in the Compact Cup, and we've got this brilliant battle for the lead in the Super Cup. Here, meanwhile, comes Gareth Claydon, and this is now then for second place in the Compact Cup, with the 59 car of Matt Kendall just about hanging on. The Parks Motorsport car, which had issues yesterday of an aerodynamic type, with the boot popping open early on, and that gave him a black and orange flag. He had to make a pit stop. Right now, they'll be about to lose second place. Connor Grady's in the pit lane as well. So Connor Grady brings what was the 4th place 1 Series into the pits. Gareth Claydon goes to the outside of Matt Kendall and sweeps ahead as they head down through the first corner. And yellow flags then littering the first part of the lap now, with at least 1 and maybe 2 cars stricken at the side of the road. Claydon then now needs to try and set off after the leader in the class. No, beg your pardon, no, sorry, he's now the leader of the class, isn't he? Yes, there are no more Compact Cups for him to catch, so Gareth Claydon is snuck through into the lead of the category from the very back of the grid. That good early progress then paying dividends now. He's already into the lead, and we're only just into the second half of the race. Back to the 1 Series. Simon Waterfall here behind Thorburn Aston, but they're being dropped now a bit by Aiden Hassan, who crosses the line 1.8 seconds clear of the second place battle. So Aiden now starting to establish himself out in front.
Seeming to do so. Still 6 minutes to go as they turn in through Richie's again. This is on lap 7. New fastest lap of the race from Hassan on 27.296. That was at least 1.2 seconds quicker than the cars in front. So he really is pushing on. Equal pace, it seems, between Waterfall and Aston. Case in point, a very smoky Waterfall somehow gets round the outside at the inside of Montreal. Little wiggle from Aston, but they're leaning on each other on corner exit. Now it's a drag race between the two, but Waterfall's car's looking a little smoky. We've still got plenty of pace though. And up into second place it goes. Now, Derek Richeby's not too far away. He's trying to close in too. His last lap was half a second quicker than Aston and Waterfall on a 27.9. And he's slowly but surely edging his way forwards. Aston posturing around, having a look at one way then the other. But Waterfall looks comfortable in second place for the moment. Defends the line, but again looks very smoky on corner exit. Now, we've seen this car smoke before in the past, and it hasn't been too much of an issue, but it's still dead ill on certain corners on certain points. I don't think it's tyre rubbing smoke. It looks like more something that's coming out the back. What it is remains a mystery.
Yeah, maybe it just runs very rich on oil or something, but it's definitely got worse all of a sudden there as he came out of Nelson. A lot of smoke as it turns into the final turn at Murray's, so hopefully that's not going to develop into a drama for the Bromley Motorsport prepared car. There's your race leader, Thorburn Aston. And now Darren Rickaby starting to buy into this fight for second position. Darren Rickaby quite a bit quicker than the 2 cars ahead of him that time. 27.0 was 9 tenths quicker than the leader, and 1.7 seconds quicker than Thorburn Aston, who's perhaps being held up a bit now by Simon Waterfall. The fastest lap set by Aiden Hassan, a 26.737. Will be quicker, I suspect, than the fastest lap from yesterday's race as Waterfall runs wide at the Wilson hairpin. That could leave him vulnerable now down the back straight.
It does, because you see, he's gone right to the inside line to defend. Aston's gone straight with him to get the toe down the back straight. They're still dropping Rickaby a little bit, because the last lap, well, I say that, Rickaby did a 27.0 last time. That was a full 1.7 seconds quicker than Aston and 8 tenths quicker than Waterfall was. So he really is closing quite quickly, even though visibly didn't look like it from the camera angle that we had. 3 3/4 minutes to go, back through Brundle and Nelson. Again, Smoky Simon Waterfall down towards the bomb hole again. This is for the 8th time. And again, Hassan continues to rack up fastest laps of the race. He's in a 1:26.737. His Waterfall test the track limits a little too much exiting the bomb hole. But keeps it pointing on the straight and narrow. Just get the sense, though, that not only is Aston putting that pressure on, but Rickaby's still there to keep watching, keep an eye on getting involved in that if the opportunity comes up at any point.
Indeed so. This, meanwhile, is the fight for third in the Compact Cup. Daniel Mountford, the yellow and black number 112 car, has got Xavier Ross in behind, and Paul Mousel is in this group as well. Now, he's still going then, despite having been on the grass. Maybe he wasn't slowing, maybe he'd just been off the road and there'd been a bit of contact or something.
So those two cars obviously have slowed down and still gone, but I think the car's parked up on the exit of Richie's is Max Noble.
Yes.
That's what we got. So I thought for a second it was Xavier's car that had stopped there, but it's not. It's Max that's steadily out of the lead, what was the lead of the compact class. It's Mousel looking trying to pick up third place in that final podium spot, having a little dart to the inside, trying to put the pressure on. It's yellow and black versus black and green. So far, the yellow and black's holding on. Also, just behind there, that's Angus Noble putting the pressure on Xavier Ross for what will be 4th in category. No, 5th in category that will be, because... No, yes, it will be 4th, because he's on the back of Xavier Ross if he can. Back up the straight again, for them all together. 2.5 minutes just under to go. And Waterfall has stayed in front of Aston, and Rickaby's now dropped to 2 seconds back last time across the line, so he was closer. Aston's turned the wick up again, they've done a personal best, and that was last time 1.3 seconds quicker than Rickaby was in that last lap.
Yeah, Mousel through on the inside there of Mountford, although Mountford comes straight back at him on corner exit. Paul took a little bit too much speed into the corner, couldn't quite maintain the tight line coming out. He's still alongside Mountford though on the outside line, but I think Daniel Mountford is just about going to hang on. And another of the Parks Motorsport prepared cars comes up behind in the shape of Xavier Ross there, the largely blue car, and Angus Noble in behind as well. Good four-way scrap this then for the lower podium places within the Compact Cup as they head on down into Brundle and Nelson. The 1 Series leaders have just gone through on to what will be their penultimate lap of the race, by the way. A new fastest lap set by the race leader Aidan Hassan, who leads by 6.2 seconds now, so all of a sudden he has established utter dominance on this race. In the Compact Cup though, still plenty of scores to be settled in the fight for third position.
Mountford resisting the pressure nicely from Mouse as they come through. Xavier Ross again from Angus Noble. So he'll try and at least uphold Noble family honours that Max is not going to go on and win the race. He'll try again in race 3 later on. Through Coram, the quartet goes. A little wayward for Ross as he gets under pressure from Noble. Through the left-hander once again, back on the power. Mazel trying to steal that final podium place if he can. He's got one more time around the 200 circuit to do so. Let's see if he can manage it.
Across the line they go again then. Daniel Mountford again has to defend. Now this time he's on the inside line into Riches. This didn't really work out well for Paul Mousel a lap ago, but Paul's completely sideways as he turns into the corner. Does drive the wheels off that BMW, doesn't he? And it's very spectacular to watch indeed. Here comes Angus Noble meanwhile to the inside of Xavier Ross, but not actually close enough to execute the move into the Wilson hairpin. It's all a little bit scrappy this, isn't it? Paul Mousel, I think, is a tad frustrated to be so far down the order compared to where he was yesterday. He wants to make this move stick, but every time he gets close to doing it, there's always an answer, there's always a response from Daniel Mountford, and actually Mousel slowed there down the straight, and either side of him go Noble and Xavier Ross.
Oh, this is getting too close for words. 2 wheels on the grass for Ross, and up the inside of both will go Noble. Will he get third place? The answer is no, because Mousel outbrakes himself as the time has gone to 0. As they come out the side-by-side still as Noble looks to go around the outside of Ross, gets put on the curb. They're going to tap wing mirrors. Also closing in is also Aaron Tippler, number 22, as they come through the right-hander, and Ross is still going to try and hold on to it if he can, and just hold on to the position whilst they go through. I'm pretty sure as well, I think the 1 Series cars have already gone through to start their last lap. I thought they'd gone the checker flag this time, so we'll wait and see how the 1 Series cars come through at that point. It's still quite close between the top 2nd and 3rd, but Waterfall and Aston. As we see Aidan Hassan, a little wiggle on the exit, but now he's got himself back in front. He was aiming for 5 in a row, didn't quite happen yesterday, even though the kind of run of win streak has gone, at least it will be another victory for him. 3 out of 4. This seems all being well as we look at the compacts on the inset. But Hassan has sailed away to 8 seconds or so and about to take win number 3 of 2026 in quite some comfortable fashion this morning.
Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? Very, very good performance this from the back row of the grid. Aidan Hassan is going to claim the victory in the BMW 1 Series Super Cup then. And for Aidan, this will be a 3rd win from 4 races this season. He did the double at Brands Hatch. Didn't have such a good race yesterday, but race 2 at Snetterton goes the way of Aidan Hassan, and he will be very pleased with that. We've had dramas there for Aaron Tippler. Meanwhile, he's been across the grass coming out of the Wilson hairpin in this ongoing battle within the compacts. I can tell you Simon Waterfall came home 2nd, Auburn Aston 3rd, and Darren Rickaby's been across the line in 4th. Chris Stretton now comes home in 5th. And 6th position should be David Meadows. Gareth Claydon looks like he's going to win in the Compact Cup. And he should be one of the next cars home, actually, the winner within the compact. But it's this battle for the lower podium place that is catching our attention. In fact, really more for 4th place now, isn't it, with Javier Ross coming up behind Daniel Mountford. So David Meadows will be the next car home, we think, and then it should be Gareth Claydon, the winner in the Compact Cup. In fact, that was Gareth weaving as he crossed the line and claiming the win in the Compact Cup element of the race. 2nd position will go the way of Matt Kendall, and then we wait to see what's going to go on in the fight for 3rd with here they come, Paul Mousel coming home 3rd, and who's going to be 4th? It's absolutely side by side. It was Javier Ross. Javier Ross got ahead of Daniel Mountford, according to the timing screen anyway, by 9 1/1000ths of a second to claim what would be 4th in the Compact Cup. Brilliant scrabble to the line there between that group of cars. And Javier Ross, it's now been corrected. I did think to the eye it looked as though Mountford was ahead, and it's now been amended so that Javier Ross has lost that 4th position. But Aidan Hassan, no doubt about the winner. He dominates that one, claims the win by nearly 7.5 seconds over Simon Waterfall, with Thorburn Aston coming home in 3rd. 4th place Darren Rickaby, 5th Chris Stretton, and Gareth Claydon 6th overall is the winner in the BMW Compact Cup. David Meadows was next ahead of Matt Kendall, 2nd of the compacts, with Paul Mousel coming home in 3rd in that category, 9th place overall ahead of Daniel Mountford and Javier Ross, separated by next to nothing at the line. Angus Noble was next, then it was Aaron Tippler and Tim Seaford, who was the first car 1 lap down. Molly Pugh was 15th, and unfortunately Conor Grady retired to the pit lane, and Max Noble stopped out on track on the exit of Rich's corner, and the number 23 car was a non-finisher. So Aidan Hassan wins, and that's much more like it then for the man who set the early pace, the youngster who drove so well at Brands Hatch, the season opener.